Alrighty, so Star Wars. The name has lost a lot of aura over the years, and whether it be from the games, the shows, whatever, we all acknowledge that the aura is slowly being drained out of Star Wars. But there are some major Star Wars shows in the making, slash movies in the making. I don't know how well they'll do. I don't know how well they'll perform, and that leaves me a little bit concerned. Now, we do have good news for the franchise. Someone who is actively tarnishing Star Wars in Kathleen Kennedy, I think her name is. She is now being removed, and we're getting a new head. The guy who made Clone Wars, or helped make, it's not, is it JJ? It's not JJ, what's his name? Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni's becoming the new head with a business partner for the business side of things. But we're gonna have to, flood the system. There's still a lot of things that have been made while it was under new rule, and I think that's gonna affect a lot of the quality of some of the shows and stuff coming out, slash movies. I'm excited for the Mandalorian Grogu movie. It'll be the first Star Wars movie I will ever see in theaters, as I'm planning to go to the theaters for that movie when it comes out. But I am a long-term Star Wars fan, and I want to see greatness from this franchise. I truly, truly believe Star Wars can be so much better than where it is right now. And there's some things that I think Star Wars needs to work on for the shows I'm talking about. The games, we could probably make a whole video about that. But in this video, I just want to talk about the shows. Alright, and the shows that I truly want to see in Star Wars. One, because I think they'd be fucking cool. Two, because I think it could genuinely start a new direction now that we've got a new head. Now that, Disney's not slow, or I should say Disney Star Wars isn't slowly being tarnished over the years, certain narratives being promoted about the Force's gender that is just not needed. Okay, no one cares about the gender of the fucking Force. Okay, except for the lead of Disney, apparently, Disney Star Wars. But I do want to stress, these are going to be biased, but I do genuinely think these shows that I'm going to mention, this is going to be a top 5 sort of video, and I'm going to present them as such on my little PowerPoint I've got here. But yeah, I do think Star Wars can be just so much better. Dude, I still love Star Wars. I love this shit. Recently read the Son of Dathomir comic. Oh my god, man, that shit peak. This shit means something to me, man. Maul Shadowlord, I've got a lot of hope for, but that's, we'll see what happens. It looks sick. When it comes out, we'll see if it was written amazingly. Like Andor, I consider to be one of the best shows, just for reference. Andor, probably the best thing Star Wars has ever released. Second to that, Clone Wars, only because if I take into account all of Clone Wars, all of Andor, and you do a band for band, I kind of think quality-wise Andor just slightly beats it in terms of the episodes. Obviously, Clone Wars has more episodes. I love Clone Wars. They're neck and neck, but I give it to Andor just on the quality aspect. And then probably worst shows, Obi-Wan, Acolyte. Boba Fett. Like, I don't need to mention the ones that are so bad. Okay, but yeah, these are my top 5. We're going to start with the one I'm most passionate about and the one I want to see. Now that we're riding this high with Dave Filoni. Hey, Dave, get the notepad, buddy. Okay? I'm here to save your franchise. Don't worry. The Force Unleashed. The games were peak. Alright, this was a massive influence on my childhood. Okay? The reason why I like dual saber users. Okay? The reason why I got into Star Wars could genuinely be because of the Force Unleashed. I got the fucking Rogue Shadow from when I was a youngin'. That was one of the, I think that was the biggest Lego Star Wars set I got as a kid, and that was my favorite Lego Star Wars kid. I can't tell you what I did with the fucking woman that was in that. I can't tell you what I did. Whoa, okay, whoa. Okay, that sounds... She got lost in the bin somewhere, okay, and we didn't recover the bin. That's what I meant by that. Anyways. Whoa. Anyways, I can't tell you what I did to my damaged Darth Vader, but I still got the fucking Star Killer. And I think the Star Wars show should be called Star Wars, the Star Killer. We have Sam Witwer's Maul. Mwah! Chef's kiss. Okay? Amazing. Let's put some sprinkles on that amazing cupcake. Alright? That Michelin star cupcake. Let's put some sprinkles on that. Let's give Sam Witwer the honor of doing Star Killer in either a live action setting, because, I mean, Force Unleashed was literally made with the idea of Sam Witwer's face being put into the game. You have the actor, he's on his hands and knees like, brother, please let him do it, you know? Amazing things. And here's the thing. You can have this show. You don't have to make it canon. You can just have it. You can make the show and just say, yeah, guys, this isn't canon towards the main story. And just have it be cool, you know? Like a Marvel What If, but with Star Wars, the Star Killer. You know, and it could be set in an alternate universe. You can make it, the title screen can start at the very beginning, first episode, and tell you that this is not a part of in an alternate timeline, alternate universe type of situation, right? Like, you can do all that with the start screen. And having it as the Star Killer, I think, is so much aura as a title. Number one, you can go wild with what Star Killer can do in the show. I mean, in the games, he's literally killing Force Ghosts. He's fucking stopping Star Destroyers from falling from orbit. Like, dude, you can do so much with the power scaling in this show. It would be insane. You could have Clone Wars. This could probably satisfy the Clone Wars Samurai Jackson, I think, 2003 show they made. Like, dude, that power scaling can work in Star Wars, and it would be so fucking appropriate for a guy like Star Killer, because the games are sick. The story's a little odd, but you can get past that, and you can even rewrite it because it's your own thing now, you know? Star Wars the Star Killer. You can have the games be a different thing, or maybe like a beta version of what the story actually is, and then just have references. You can do whatever thing you want, okay? But just have Sam Witwer, man. Dude, it'd be so fucking cool, man. You could have Starkiller versus Vader in the show. You could have Vader showing up, killing a fucking Jedi Master, and then stealing the apprentice, or stealing the Padawan to make him an apprentice. Like, you can do so much with this. It's insane, you know? You can have a baddie for Starkiller's fucking fiance or girlfriend, whatever. I can't remember her name, but whatever her name was, you know, you can have her, like, dude, it's endless, I love it. But yeah, that's my first recommendation, Star Wars The Star Killer. This is a personal one. I really think this would do numbers, not only for nostalgic Star Wars fans. Dude, Star Wars The Star Killer, I think that's a sick title. Like, am I off? Like, anyways, I got Dude, I'm too amped up. It's almost fucking midnight and I'm recording this shit. We move on to probably the most requested one, and one I'm slowly, like, I kind of got hooked, and now I'm slowly learning more about it in terms of the games, but we need to see a show/movie adaptation, and that is obviously, at my number 2 spot, Star Wars The Old Republic, as either a TV series that you can literally call it Star Wars, The Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and you literally have it animated, Bad Batch style, but you have infinite seasons like Clone Wars. Like, this is your other Clone Wars this is a fucking tool on the tool belt you guys haven't even accessed yet, you know? You have so much content, not just with the RPG games made by, I can't remember the developer, but the ones made way back in the day. Then you have the MMO storylines that you could do, which go into a lot of different stories that nobody plays because that game, it's kind of aged poorly, very microtransactions heavy, subscription based systems, not really a good idea for video games in my personal opinion. But it's like you're literally sitting on so many golden eggs, and this is why I love Star Wars so much. You have so many golden eggs you can look to. And I know my biased one is based off a singular person and Star Killer. I strongly feel like Star Wars does need to start making a shift into a more general group, you know? Like, I'm completely happy with the Maul show. Listen, oh, that's on my bucket list to have a whole show dedicated to Maul for Star Wars. All right, there is. I cannot tell you how happy I was when I saw that trailer. Oh my god, I'm still on cloud nine writing from that trailer. But there's so many characters or so many Star Wars storylines that are being kind of put onto one character. Andor, Cassian Andor, not really even the main character of the show, arguably, you know? Ahsoka, also not really, like, she is the main character, kinda, I guess. You can make an argument for Sabine. You can make an argument it's fucking Baylan Skoll. You can make an argument it's for fucking Admiral Thrawn, because the whole fucking show is about getting to Admiral Thrawn, you know? There's a lot of things you can do with using generic names, and I really feel like at least Disney Star Wars in specific has focused way too much on individualized titles for things. Mandalorian and Grogu, I'm gonna be honest, I don't give a fuck about Mando and Grogu. Dude, the new movie, I know it's titled Mando and Grogu, I would have preferred it to be called like Republic versus the Underworld or some shit, right? Like anything other than Mando and Grogu, but they're gonna title that because that's what sells. I think we need to make a risk here, and we need to start doing general groups, you know, or eras, if you will. You had Star Wars The Clone Wars, Phantom Menace. I know that's like Maul, but the idea is that the Sith are the Phantom Menace, if that makes sense. You know, like there's a lot of extra things. Attack of the Clones, that's the start of the Clone Wars. Revenge of the Sith, who's the Sith? You know what I mean? Like, this is the type of shit that we need. Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, a reference to, like, I know it's a Luke Skywalker thing, but it's a reference of the Jedi Order coming back, you know? Like, we need stuff like that. An Old Republic, what better way than the Old Republic? You have Havoc Squad. Just off the top of my head, I've got like 50 hours in that MMO game. Maybe more, to be honest. Maybe more. Like, you've got Havoc Squad. Havoc Squad has fucking like 7 or 8 different members. I almost said the funny word, meme word. I'm not gonna do that, or meme number. But yeah, you have Havoc Squad. You have the robot that was there, the droid, the fucking Omega Sentry droid that looks like he belongs in Fallout, but he's sick. You have a whole storyline with that. You have the fucking main guy who was part of the original Havoc Squad. You have the lore of it just being a joke squad, but it actually being badass and saving the senator of Coruscant at the time and shit. Like, dude, you have so much you can access, and that's not even including. It's not even including Darth Nihilus. I recently found out his lore. Fucking amazing. You have fucking Darth Malgus in the back. You have the lady on the screen here, I don't remember her name. You know, you have fucking Darth Malak. You have so many different things you can do with Old Republic. It's unreal. And the fact that this isn't on the top of the fucking to-do list is wild to me. All right, take your notes, Star Wars, right now. Hey, Dave Filoni, get the notepad out, okay? Start writing this down, all right? I promise you, you won't regret it. And this is a great way to get a vast, or a diverse group of people. And when I say that, I don't mean the way Disney thinks, okay? I mean, like, the old heads, the new heads, people who've never heard Star Wars before. You know, they hear Old Republic, maybe they're gonna be like, you know, I've heard good things about that. And, you know, maybe I'll try watching it. Maybe we'll see, you know? Start with a movie, lead into a show, vice versa. Similar to Clone Wars, when they had the Clone Wars movie and then they had the Clone Wars show. Like, oh, it blows my mind that this isn't being accessed. We move on to the next one. And this, I know, is individualized. This is going to be the last individualized one. And this is mainly because I know a lot of ball when it comes to it. And something about this pisses me off. But this next one, third place, aka bronze medal for the show. I think Disney Star Wars, or yeah, I think, yeah, we're still in the Disney era. It's just Dave Filoni's leading the charge. General Grievous show, or you could do a Star Wars Galactic Species, the species of Star Wars, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And under the species thing. You could do like a whole episode about Wookiees. You could do an episode about fucking Tauntauns. You could do an episode about the Kaleesh, which is what General Grievous's origins is, which we'll get into in a second. You could do fucking the Nemoidians, I think, are the fucking, what are the Newt Gunrays or whatever they're called. You could do the Gungans, you could have the Gungan Wars, you could have fucking Boss Nass. I don't care. You have thousands of species to access in the Star Wars universe, and the fact that, like, none of them are getting highlighted in a show is kind of wild to me. In terms of, like, them having their own show, I guess the closest we got is maybe Underworld. You could have a fucking show about Zabraks, and here's the thing. You can have this and do it in sort of a Vision style where every episode is a different species. You could have the Nemoidians, you could have the Zabraks. In the Son of Dathomir comic, kind of a spoiler, okay? So skip ahead probably a minute if you don't want to hear this. There is a whole segment where the Zabrak brethren come in and they fight Dooku. Yeah, they get their ass whooped, okay? They get their ass whooped. It's so fucking cool, though. Like, dude, it's so cool. You could have a Night Sisters thing. Like, oh my god, man. There's so many things you could do. But moving past that, the General Grievous show, aka the Kaleesh show, a General Grievous origin story. And here's my main reason why General Grievous is above so many, like over a Dooku show maybe, over a fucking Yoda show, whatever. General Grievous is up here so high, is because this is one of the first characters I probably did like actual deep dives into and looked at lore on YouTube, lore guys. I can't remember their name off the top of my head, but dude, his backstory origins is so fucking amazing. And the fact that it's not canon is fine, because you know what you can do? You can rewrite it, fix up some things that you maybe want to add to General Grievous. Maybe because for people who don't know Ball, basically General Grievous was on a planet, and the planet was all about domination. And he was the leader dominating other tribes. He was at war with a different alien species. The Republic took the other side, so that other alien species side. And they basically just fucking removed everything General Grievous had. He had multiple wives, they all got removed from. He had multiple kin, they were all fucking killed. Everything from his species and his leadership was just taken away from him. And then he was also given, I can't remember the specifics, but basically he became sort of a bounty hunter person, worked for Count Dooku, or Count Dooku specifically found him, either or. And then Count Dooku he basically manipulated him so that he would end up in a state where he would become a cyborg thing that they could pretty much control. There's a lot of lore in terms of the fusion of his genetics and how they try to make him force sensitive and stuff like that. But that's a whole other thing. But you can do all of that for the General Grievous show. And it's so... it mind boggles me that they haven't tapped into this. Like, the comics are literally just infinite source material you can just keep on ripping off. And it's... it just blows my mind how we're getting fucking... Andor. I love Andor. Why the fuck are we getting a side character that we know dies from a side movie based off the main series? Like, what the fuck? General Grievous is one of the main villains in one of the core 6 films. Like, what are we doing, man? You know, like, these are the things that sort of boggle my mind, where we're not using this. And yeah, his origin story isn't canon. Dude, you can just make it canon. You can. Just like you made things uncanon, you can just make them canon. Dave, come on, brother. You know, I'm spitting ball in your direction. You got to be able to get the ball and dribble a little bit, buddy. All right? And it pisses me off. Like, dude, how the fuck do we get Fortnite General Grievous and his Kaleesh state that's not canon before we get a whole backstory on General Grievous? Like, what the fuck, man? Pisses me off, dude. It's crazy, because his I know Star Wars can be so much better than it is. It can, man, it can. Fuck. But yeah, that's my main takeaway and reasoning why General Grievous show. Dude, this would sell buckets. This would sell canyons, all right? This would sell fucking planets, all right? General Grievous show, we're going fucking platinum with this show, all right? You could even just do a movie, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of stuff you could skip. And this could be one of those Star Wars things that has a serious tone like Andor, and you can have the scenes where, like, his wife is getting taken away from it, wives, kids. Like, dude, you can do so much. You could have the scene where, you know, he ends up getting into the cyborg suit, and you can make it, like, an uncomfortable sort of, like, X-Men transformation shit. Like, there's so many things you can do with this. It's crazy. We're gonna move on to my number 4 slot. That is Star Wars: The Empire. I think this could go triple platinum. Like, this could really cook. You can do this in multiple ways. You can do stories of similar to, like, The Bad Batch in a way. You can have specialized episodes, or not specialized episodes, I should say. You can have specialized admirals or officers, whatever you want to call them. Admirals, officers, and you can have them sort of build the foundation of the Empire. You know, you can have the Tarkins, you can have the Wolves and everything. And Tarkin's got so much aura. You could do this animated live action. Well, I guess you can't do live action because of the Tarkin thing. And if you don't know, like, basically Tarkin passed. His buddy got the rights to reserve Tarkin's, the actor who played Tarkin, he's got the rights for the live action thing. Rogue One got in a lot of trouble because they used, like, a CGI version of it. That's a whole thing, so they can't use Tarkin in live action, so animated would probably be the best way. But dude, you can do so much with this. And people who know ball. Dude, an Admiral Thrawn feature, insane. And you could segment it similar to, like, Tales series, you know? 3 episodes dedicated to one of them, and then continue on for each Imperial officer. And having it labeled The Empire, and it's about the officers and the admirals. Like Moff Gideon, in Mandalorian, we get to see Moff Gideon and the remnants of sort of the admirals and everything try to rebuild and rethink of, like, how we're gonna get back to the Empire's heights and get the Empire back. This is the way you can get all those people featured. And I have this guy, I think his name's Richard Brake, whatever the fuck his name is. Genuinely, I think my favorite, maybe, I don't know about episode, but my favorite moment in the Mandalorian series is in the episode, in season 2, well, Bill Burr, can't remember his name, while Bill Burr is sitting down, and he's talking with this admiral, and this admiral's, like, talking about the fucking Crimson Dawn or whatever thing happened. Fuck. It's not Crimson Dawn. What was it called? It's that Inferno Squadron thing, I think. He was talking about the Inferno Squadron stuff, and it's like, that is one of the coolest scenes. High tense situation. And this is just a random no-name officer making me get a fucking spine tingle. You know? You can do this throughout the whole series. You could do this. I don't think this would work as a movie. I think you would have to do it as, like, a TV show. But dude, get working on this instead of fucking Star Wars Starfighter. Who the fuck? Who requested Star Wars Starfighter at the board meeting? Alright? We need shit that people will recognize and be like, that's Star Wars. Star Wars Starfighter is, like, the lamest thing I've ever heard of for a title. A Starfighter? Come on, brother. That's literally, like, that's anything. Star Wars The Republic is a better fucking name, you know? Like, it pisses me off when they do this shit. But yeah, this is a way you can include so much of the Empire. You could have Death Troopers. You could have so many different type of troopers we haven't seen in the series yet. And this is just a good way to explain everyone. And you can have sort of characters who aren't necessarily established. One thing I love about Andor is that it made Krennic feel like a real, like, admiral. Before, when I heard is it Admiral Krennic? That feels wrong. I don't know why that feels wrong. Director Krennic, that's what it is. When they say like Director Krennic, I don't get like a tingle in Rogue One. I was like, okay, this guy gets bitched by Vader like most other fucking admirals do. Tarkin doesn't though, because he's got aura. You know, Thrawn doesn't because he's got aura. But this jobber gets fucking bitched by Vader for failing him. Fails Vader a bunch of times, or I guess just that one time. But it's like, dude, I didn't get any sense of what the fuck does this guy do. In Andor, when he showed up, it was like, oh shit, it's serious. Something's going down, you know? And how he had a lot of things in control of building the Death Star and everything. Like, dude, there's so many characters you can have gain so much aura just by having episodes dedicated to them in the series. It's unreal. You know, you could do negotiation. You could have the political stuff, like the Mon Mothma segments in Andor, where you have the Empire talk about other allegiances with other planets. Like, endless things you can do. Moving on, we have another series that I think could go triple platinum. I haven't really got a great name for it, I'll be honest. Star Wars Planets. Not a great name. Worlds of Star Wars. Star Wars Galaxy. I don't know what you would call this, but basically a series similar to Visions, where every episode, you get an episode dedicated to a different type of planet. You know? The intro, it would start off Star Wars, or the title card, similar to like how Star Wars Clone Wars did their title cards with the black screen and just the white text at the beginning. You could do this at the start of every episode and be like, on Kashyyyk, on Christophsis, which is this planet here if you don't know Ball, on Felucia, Dathomir, whatever you want, and you can hit so many different audiences with this and really start expanding what you can do with Star Wars. Because I think the general consensus of Star Wars, in terms of the areas to visit, is, oh, Star Wars is a bunch of desert planets. This is a good way to basically, like, not really. They have a whole show dedicated to different planets. You could even fucking have desert planets in this show, you know? I don't mind a Tatooine thrown in there. I don't mind a Jakku, you know, getting thrown in there. I don't mind shit like that, right? So you could do so much with this series and make things look so beautiful. I know this isn't like this isn't going to be a story. This isn't like a General Grievous backstory, a Star Killer upbringing, a, you know, style like that. An older Republic where war's going on and you have badass Sith and badass Jedi. It's not one of those. It would probably be like the inner workings of planets, the conflicts of the species on the planets, and maybe how the Republic or Separatist got to them, like those what are they called, Troidarians, the flying bugs from season 1 that Yoda talks to in Clone Wars. Those guys are very neutral, and they're like, yeah, we don't really want to do anything with this war, but the Separatists are kind of like pressuring them, and then the Jedi are like, no, come to us. And it's like, you can see where some planets can align, you know? And the Dugs are kind of pieces of shit in the Clone Wars. You know, those are the people, that's Zabulba's race, I'm pretty sure. The guy who pod races with Anakin in Phantom Menace. The Dugs, they're assholes. You can have a whole show or a whole episode dedicated to them just being fucking pricks. You know, pieces of shit on their planet, you know? So that's something you could do. You could have the tribal stuff. You don't have to have the Tusken Raiders. I love Tusken Raiders. You could have the other ones. I don't remember what they're called, but the winter version in the Clone Wars. Fuck, they got big fins on their head. They have like spider faces, but like they're woolly. They're pretty cool looking. I can't remember their name, but yeah, I just think you can do a lot with this show to sort of build, because Star Wars really does need galaxy building, you know? We need to understand more of the Star Wars like worlds and how they work and everything, because I feel like it gets lost a lot with how big Star Wars really is, and I think this show would at least expand that idea, you know? But yeah, these are just a few show ideas I had in mind, a few show names that you could place, and these are all my picks, but I do strongly feel like Star Wars is headed in the correct direction right now with Dave Filoni at the head. I'm not going to say Dave Filoni's going to fix Star Wars. I'm not going to say Dave Filoni's going to fucking outshine Kathleen Kennedy. I'm not going to say anything like that. What I am saying is that I have more faith in Dave Filoni doing at least a slightly better job than what Kathleen Kennedy has done with Star Wars. And I think there's a lot of potential with what we have here. Sam Witwer being Maul in the Maul show. Dude, Force Unleashed. Star Killer is right there, you know? You can start the production now, you know? Like, there's a lot of things you can just link and very easily get people who are still on board. Because a common theme amongst all Star Wars projects in the past, like, 5 to 10 years have been like, I will never work for Star Wars again. I will never help out Disney again. I will never do this for this show. I will never portray that character. You had basically everyone in fucking the sequel trilogy say they don't ever want to come back. You had Harrison Ford say he doesn't want to play Han Solo. He's been saying that for decades, though. You had fuck, what's his name? Fuck. The Ahsoka actor basically say she doesn't want to do Ahsoka, and you can say like that's pay or that's whatever, right? But I'm just trying to give free balls, right? I'm trying to pick up the balls that are already in their court and show them, hey, you still got balls you can throw, buddy. You know, that's all I'm trying to do. That's all I'm trying to do. But yeah, these are just my opinions. I have strong passion for Star Wars. I still have faith, you know. And at the end of the day, Star Wars, this shit means something to me, man. It really does, man. I love this shit. I love space battles. I love medieval themes. Fuck, man, I love this shit. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. If you made it to the end of the video, maybe comment down whatever show you would like to see. I know there's a lot of suggestions out there for different styles. I do, in general, think Star Wars needs to be headed in a general group sort of titling, rather than just naming things after characters we know. Instead of naming things that we know, you need to start naming things that we don't know, so we watch it being like, I wonder what's this, what is this about? You know, rather than, oh, Star Wars the Ahsoka, it's going to be about Ahsoka. Star Wars Mando, it's going to be about Din Djarin, the Mando. You know, like, you can do so many things. You could have Star Wars Mandalore, but that probably, like, you can't, that's the problem now, because if you do Star Wars the Mandalore, or Star Wars Mandalore, you can't really, that doesn't really sell tickets, you know? Because you have a Mando show. You have a Mandalorian show. You can't really do just Mandalore now. So, I don't know. That's just maybe my take. You know, you could chop that into the planets, worlds, Star Wars galaxies, whatever you want to call it. Have a whole Mandalore segment. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents. That's all I wanted to talk about. If you made it to the end, I want to thank you for watching. And as always, I hope you have a good day.